All right, guys, so here we're gonna go over the bent over dumbbell row. This variation, we're really gonna try to strategically target the lats. There's different areas we can target on the back, obviously with a lot of different musculature and movement patterns to isolate. However, to really focus on the lats in this movement, there's a couple specific things we wanna do. So first and foremost, one of the things we see done and improper most of the time, you're gonna hear us use the term neutral spine a lot. So when Dillon comes over, if he's not in a neutral spine position, and he comes over and he rounds, basically at this point, his spine is rounded. So there's an inefficiency here. We're gonna put a lot of load on the area of the spine that basically is circumvented at the peak. So now, in this situation here, if Dillon drives his elbows out wide, which again, we see a lot of the time, we're targeting upper back here, upper musculature of the back. So traps, rhomboids, rear delts, etc. Now, if we stand up vertical, and we get into this movement very similar to the way you would perform an RDL or a Romanian deadlift, and you actually hinge at the hip with a neutral spine. So you're gonna have a braced core nice and tight, push the hips back as if closing a car door with the butt, slight bend in the knees, but more so some tension on the hamstrings here. Now from here, to target the lat, we really want to drive the elbow back to the hip and focus on driving that elbow back to the hip. So you can see here at the top, Dillon has a nice angle of the arm, and we're actually isolating the lat by driving that hand and elbow back to the hip. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to arc like this, because as soon as you get an arc rolling, basically what's going to happen there, come over one more time, and we're going to arc that dumbbell. If we arc, that load gets basically taken off of the lat, and as that shoulder rotates in its socket, we transfer the load to the trap.